Hello everyone, and today we're going to be talking about Chimera. Now, it has been a minute since I've been behind the camera. You probably noticed that things are a little bit different here. Unfortunately, we do not have a green screen for this video. There's an awful lot of movement and things changing going on with this whole area, so we'll see, right? Ultimately, I just wanted to make a quick video about Chimera because I've been looking for a deck that I can use to more casually interact with Master Duel, given how powerful Snake Eyes is and how prevalent Stun and a lot of the big counters to that deck is. I wanted something where I didn't have to think too hard, something that was a little bit off-brand, fun, but still really powerful, and I landed on Chimera. And I tried out this Horus Chimera build, and I really fucking like it. This shit is really good. I think we went on like a 6-win streak off rip. And since it's been pretty consistently powerful, it's really good going both first and second. Having sort of Super Poly built into the core of the deck, as well as Guardian Chimera being one of your best cards, means that you have amazing potential for going second in Engine, which is awesome. There's just a lot going on with this deck, and I really fucking like it. I think this deck is a lot more powerful than people give it credit for, and I wanted to put a spotlight on it. So we're going to go in, show off a couple of replays, maybe even do a live game at the end if we have time. Again, we're going to be trying to cut our videos back down to sort of the way we were doing them before. I was experimenting a lot with different editing styles and things. That was more so me preparing and learning for other future projects, which if you're curious about, of course, I will be releasing more information on as things happen. If you're curious, join the Discord. That's usually where I talk about things first. So we're going to be dulling down the editing just a little bit now that we've sort of like gotten familiar and we know what we're doing. I feel like I'm going to start drawing it back, putting up videos much more regularly than I have been to date, and sort of maybe resuming not quite our old schedule of a video every single day. That was way too much work, and I was starting to burn myself out a little bit, but we're going to be posting a lot more frequently than we currently are. So ideally that all works out. We're gonna get into some gameplay. Of course, if you're new here, make sure you're subscribed to catch more stuff as it comes out. And like I said, all of these other projects that I'll be making announcements on as I make progress. I don't like announcing things when it's half-baked, so I'm still working on it all before I bring anything concrete out. But again, I'm pretty damn excited. Join the Discord if you're not to get updates. Subscribe, like the video, and let's just hop into the gameplay. Alright, getting into game number one. I don't have these in any particular order, so we're just going to go in and see what happens. We get met with Maxi off the rip here. This deck doesn't hate Maxi. Every deck doesn't like Maxi. Of course, if you're planning on summoning even once or twice, that's still Pot of Greed. But Chimera is unique in that it can actually kind of set itself up without playing into Maxi too much. We're of course going to negate it because fuck that, but like, what I'm saying is if you had to play under Maxi, you're in a much better spot than most. We're going to summon out our Berthament off of the Sword Knight. We're going to grab Chimera Fusion and Gazelle using Patchwork. We're going to grab Polymerization and a Edgem Saber. I'm very tempted to play another Beast here as a search target off of Berthament, but right now we've only got Gazelle. We're going to go Chimera, the king of Phantom Beast. That's going to trigger Gazelle's effect and the Edgem Chain in the graveyard, and lastly the Chimera on the field. The Chimera on the field being last chain blocks your other cards from Ash Blossom. Basically, that'll loop a card out of their hand at the end of the turn. We're gonna grab a card here. We're gonna grab Nightmare Magician. The hand Nightmare Magician is really fucking cool. I don't know if it's gonna make it into the final build, but that card is dope. It's a lot of fun, and it actually does come up every now and then, just like my hair does. Gonna ignore that, trying to fix it with the reversed camera. Right, so we're gonna send a Horus card, I think that was, to the graveyard there. Bringing back the Nightmare Magician. So what the Nightmare Magician basically does, and this is a card you don't see in a lot of Chimera lists, but essentially in the battle phase, if a monster declares an attack that isn't him, you pop a monster on the field. If he battles an opponent's monster, you take their monster. That is very important, and I've won games because of both of those effects more than once, and I do have a replay in this video of us taking advantage of that. We're going to loop a card out of his hand off of Chimera's effect during the end phase. Of course, we got the Nib, we got our Quick Play Fusion spell, we've got a good bit of control here for the battle phase as well. That's the thing about Chimera, it's not like a lot of decks where we set up a crazy amount of like negates and control and all of this. The way this deck kind of works is you maintain and build and recur an advantage, and you grind your opponent down. I made a video on this deck a while back, branded Chimera it was, and it's similar sort of concept. He's going to play the Valence field spells here. I actually really like this guy's deck. I think this guy's deck is fucking sick. Just playing the Valence field spell in a regular Supreme King deck is such a good idea, and I'd never thought of it before, and it's so good. We are going to negate the Dark Worm because he's only got 2 cards left in hand, and as long as he doesn't have the ability to go into his Supreme King Gate Magician, I'm not too worried. He is going to go into the Supreme King Dragon Clearwing, nuking the board, which is phenomenal for him. Going to the end phase, I decided not to use any of my effects. We could have protected ourselves from that, but realistically, our opponent didn't threaten us nearly enough, and we're just going to recur all our shit back from the graveyard. We got our Quick Play Fusion spells, and like our opponent, they had nothing, right? So that shows off a couple of the plays. A very simple replay, short and sweet. I did want to put a Spotlight in his deck though, because the Valence field spells in the Supreme King deck, it's a pretty sick idea. I might play around with that one. But yeah, next replay. Keeping up the pendulum train, we've got a Endymion matchup and a phenomenally bad hand to a far front. Patchwork and both of the Edgem Chains is not what you love to see. We're going to draw both of our Chimera Fusion and our Gazelda. We're going to Fusion Summon using Gazelle and Baphomet to go into Chimera, the King of Phantom Beast. Then Phantom Beast, of course, we're going to trigger off Gazelle, we're going to trigger off Baphomet, targeting the Mirror Knight, and we're going to get the Gazelle going here. And this is pretty much kind of like the 1-card combo, if you want to call it that, with this deck. Basically, resetting up the Mirror Knight in our field, we're going to grab a card from our deck, grabbing the Coatl. Coatl then discards itself, and we'll grab us another Gazelle for follow-up. Going to use the Chimera Fusion, adding itself back to hand, and this is quintessentially what the turn looks like. You see, this was all done with 1 card. We have 4 of our original cards here, these 3 being totally fucking unusable right now. And we also have an Ash Blossom, which is neat. But basically, the way this deck works is you want to set this up for basically its name, the Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast. It changes its name to that. And the reason that's so important is this card existing on your field gives you 2 negates. It gives you the Mirror Knight, which is a monster negate, and a Coatl, which is a targeting negate. It also loops your opponent's hand for when your opponent's playing at -1, and you've got your Chimera Fusion, which you reset from the graveyard, allowing you access to the Guardian Chimera or whatever it is during your opponent's turn. So that's how this deck works, and then whenever you go into your opponent's turn to conduct their turn, you're going to go Mirror Sword Knight into Baphomet, search 2 again, then when you use your Fusion spell to do the Guardian Chimera play, you're going to trigger off your Baphomet again and your Gazelle again. You're going to go plus like 2 or 3 additional cards, and like the amount of cards you have by the end of that cycle is just insane. So I just wanted to briefly sort of, if anyone's unfamiliar, we hit Engage out of his hand, which is fucking incredible. Plays the Mecha Hornets. We're going to tribute off our dude right away. We just want him in the graveyard so we can use his negate. That's the primary purpose behind this play. We're going to summon out Baphomet from the deck. They're going to summon the token. Our Baphomet then going to grab us Chimera Fusion as well as another copy of Gazelle. Like I said, we can play another level 4 beast to search here. Normally we would play Tri-Brigade Kit, but we're not playing branded in this version. They're going to grab back Engage. We're going to negate that shit. That's why I wanted to get all of this done super quickly, because I knew he was going to go for Kigiri to grab back the Engage. It was obvious, right? Then he's going to go Thrust, and I don't really want to deal with Thrust, so we're going to Ash that, which is nice. That's our one and only hand trap, though, that we opened up with, so 3 cards left in hand. Let's hope that that's enough. They're going to go for Upstart Goblin. I'm going to take those 1,000 life points. I'm going to go Triple Tactics Talent the Bastard to draw 2 additional cards into Ultimate Slayer, which is just insane. They're going to send our Chimera to the graveyard, which, back to the extra deck, which really fucking sucks. Now they're going to play Chicken Game. They're going to draw even more cards. We're going to go for Chimera Fusion now. We're going to shuffle, fuse 1 on field and 2 in hand. Basically, our objective here is I want to get rid of that Kigiri while he doesn't have a right. And here's the thing. At this stage, I still didn't know that my opponent wasn't just playing Sky Striker. I want to make that clear. As far as I'm concerned, he's playing Sky Striker because he has played no card. Ultimate Slayer's weird in Striker, but not unheard of. He's actually playing Endymion, which I don't even know if we found out in this game. But he was playing an Endymion deck, and our opponent just surrenders. So basically our plan, the reason we did that is by getting rid of his sort of Kigiri, we get rid of any potential sort of follow-up with a Hayate, Shizuku, or whatever. Again, not really overly relevant considering our opponent wasn't actually playing that, but we're going to go +2 off the Guardian Chimera. Yeah, again, short and sweet replay. I do want to show one replay in particular, though, where we get our ass beat. Because it was a good game on our front, we played a really good game going second, but our opponent's plays were just immaculate. And I do want to show that off, and then we're going to play one live game. Alright, going second here, of course, we lost the coin toss. Going second into what appears to be a cash tier deck. I actually stole this guy's deck list afterwards because it was pretty damn good, I'm not going to lie. It was pretty awesome. They're going to go for Kashtira Birth then. Scream is going to hit the board. I'm going to speed up through their turn here because it gets quite, it's a lot. They're going to mill like 8 cards there using Terrific Karma. We're going to hit them with the Ash Blossom on the Terrific Karma because it seems like the most impactful spot. Unicorn going to banish Verte from our extra deck. Kashtira Birth bringing back the Telements Kashtira to mill an additional 3 cards. Fairy Tale Snow going to banish 7 to summon itself out from the graveyard. Then going to link 1 in the Artemis, Majestus the Moon Maiden, and the link 2 into Cross Sheep. Very interesting play here. Cross Sheep, then into Protectco Talker, and then Protectco Talker into Firewall Dragon, and then Protectco Talker comes back from the graveyard underneath Firewall, and Firewall returns Horus Imset back to the hand. That play was fucking incredible. I love that line. Now they just drop the 2 cards for the Horus, grabbing the King Star, gonna draw an extra card as well. Gonna go for the King Sarcophagus. King Sarcophagus bringing back the Blessing as well as the Happy. Now going into the Zombie Vampire. Zombie Vampire gonna detach a material, gonna mill 4. Milling 2 of our Super Polys, which kind of sucks because our main out to this situation is Super Poly, but we'll see. Kikalos going to grab the Meta Noise, so we know they have Meta Noise as well. They're going to play Kikalos' effect, sending itself to the graveyard to summon out the Telements Kashtira, milling an additional 5 cards, milling Trick Clown. Trick Clown going to summon itself back from the graveyard, paying 1,000 life points. Link 6 into Firewall Singularity. You thought that just the Firewall Dragon was enough. It gets even cooler than that. They're going to go for Baron now, normal summoning Reinhardt, because of course. Sending Havnus to the graveyard. Havnus going to shuffle back to grab themselves Real Kalos, and that, I think, is the board. They're going to pop the Scream. Scream then's going to search their deck for the trap, so they got Sulliek as well. So basically what we're looking at here, this is a goddamn board, right? First of all, Sulliek, Meta Noise. That's a problem. Baron, that's an even bigger problem. We've got Real Kalos, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 points of interruption. Firewall Dragon Singularity does not directly provide interruption in this person's deck because he does not have very many of the... I mean, I guess he technically does, but the main purpose behind Firewall Singularity is, and this is really, I thought this was dope, when he activates Telements Real Kalos' effect, he's going to send Real Kalos to the graveyard to use the effect. That's going to trigger Firewall Dragon Singularity's effect to be able to bring back the Firewall Dragon directly underneath him in the now open zone while Real Kalos summons itself back to this zone, and then Firewall Dragon also has an additional bounce. I believe that this card does not occur if the extra deck mechanic cards are Cybers. Hang on, target cards your opponent controls are in the graveyard up to the number of different card types you control in the graveyard. Yeah, there you go, actually, it does provide interruption. So even this is an additional, what, bounce 2? Because it's got Fusion and Synchro and Exceed, the bounce 3. So bounce 3 here and a bounce 3 on the Firewall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 interruptions. Plus incredible follow-up. This is a board. This is a board. I really wanted to like put a highlight on my opponent for this particular game. I think it doesn't take a genius to work out that we might not win this one, but we give it a good shot. I'm not going to lie. We're going to go for Gazelle, the King of Mythical Beasts here. They're going to use Telements Sulliek to negate us. That, you know what? Saw that one coming. Makes total sense. They're going to send Reinhardt to the graveyard. That is all good. We're going to go for Polymerization now, fusing all 3 of our monsters into the Guardian Chimera. Now, bear in mind, this Guardian Chimera is untargetable thanks to the fact that we have Polymerization in our graveyard. So now we're going to start chaining all of our cards. We get Edgem Chain as Chain Link 3 because it's the one that means the least, essentially. It's the least powerful card. Gazelle's going to grab us Coatl. Then we're going to go for Chimera. We're going to draw 2, pop 1, getting rid of the Singularity because I know that that's going to be a problem later. So that is great. That deals with both Firewall threats. We're going to swing in to the Real Kalos, taking care of that as well. Setting 2, and we're going to pass the our opponent. So we're not in a fantastic position here. Again, our opponent has quite a lot that they can do about this board. They're going to bring back Imset. We're going to go for Call by the Grave, getting rid of Happy before they can bring that card back as well. But ultimately, I'm essentially just trying to get them to use their Baron Negate so I can maxi and potentially draw the out. But even then, like, what is even out in this situation? I'm going to speed the shit up. I banished Super Poly just because I don't want them to use it potentially, but there's no... It was just a random banish to see if I could potentially get him to use the Baron. But he ended up having Ash Blossom anyway, so it didn't even matter. So yeah, he's going to go Collider Heart. Can't target us, of course, but he can get rid of us using the King Sarcophagus. 3k, 3k, and 3k. So again, we give it a really good shot. I think that that was a decent enough attempt at going second into a board like that. But our opponent, incredible board. I don't like showing videos where we only win games. I think that's very disingenuous. So there you go. There's our mandatory loss, if you will. Let's get in. I think we got time for one live replay. All right, let's get into our live game here. We've got a coin toss win, actually. Now, if our opponent wins, they're going to be getting a rank. We're going to go first. So really, when it comes to going first, what you want to see in your hand is something like Sword Knight, Coatl, maybe like Patchwork's a really good card to see in hand. Patchwork's good. King Shark also decent. Not you would really rather have Set, but you know what? That's fine. This is not the worst hand in the world. It's not fantastic. Gazelle normal summon is always dicey, but luckily we do have a fusion spell in hand already, so we're not totally like out of it here. We definitely have some grounds for maneuver. Okay, what I'm thinking we do here is I'm thinking we just poly away these two into the Chimera, then we use King of Mythical Claws to search our deck for the Mirror Knight, and then the Mirror Knight's the normal summon. That's the plan from here. So we're going to use Polymerization right off the bat. Oh, he's got nothing. Okay. Shit. I'll take it. Going to fuse into the Chimera using these two. Patchwork is such a good card, man. Patchwork is insane in a deck like this. Right, we're going to bring out Chimera, the King of Mythical Beast, or Phantom Beast, or whatever you want to call it. So Chainlink 1 is going to be Gazelle. Chainlink 2 is going to be our Edge of Chain, and then Chainlink 3 is going to be our Chimera. I guess if you wanted to play around the likes of Gamma, you could probably do Edge of Chain as Chainlink 3 because its effect doesn't really matter that much. This is amazing follow-up, but it's not like, you know, it doesn't do anything this turn. So now we're going to add a card to hand. We're going to grab the Coatl here. The Coatl essentially is going to make our opponent surrender. Easy as that, I suppose. All right, let's try another one. If we get another short game, then so be it. But ideally, I would like to, you know, play a couple of cards. That was basically going to be full combo. All you really need for the combo is normal summon Mirror Knight, and then the rest sort of works itself out. So we sort of had to play our weird way of getting it, but we got it. I'm loving that we're seeing Ash in hand so often as well. We're really safe for Maxx C here, even though none of our opponents are using Maxx C, but whatever. We're going to start with the... I don't like this. We're going to start with Coatl. It sucks here if we get ashed, but, you know, certain things you just have to live with, I suppose. Going to go for the Mirror Sword Knight. Normal summon. Let's see. Oh, they got a little something. Is that an Imperm? Activatable? Not activatable, so it's an Imperm or a Veiler, almost certainly. Alright. That makes my life easy. Could have been a... No, it wasn't a Bestial. I didn't have a Light or Dark Engrave. Okay, definitely Imperm or Veiler. So now we're going to summon Baphomet from the deck. Oh, Imperm here would suck. But it does make the most sense. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks a lot. If you're wondering how to beat Chimera, Imperm on Baphomet really hurts my damn feelings. It really does. We're not out of the game by any stretch of the imagination. It just really does hurt because that means we don't have an inherent way of getting access to our Chimera Fusion. Which on this occasion it doesn't look like we'll be getting access to. So we'll just have to make do, man. We'll just have to make do like we always do. Ain't no thing. Ain't no thing. So we're going to go for Chimera, the King of Phantom Beast. That's going to trigger our usual chain links. So Baphomet then is going to bring back the Sword Knight from the graveyard. So that means the Sword Knight essentially, during our opponent's turn, is going to restart the whole combo and get us a whole ton of advantage, which is going to be useful, especially with Super Poly. So Super Poly is an amazing card, especially in a deck like this that loves the Fusion Summon so much. So I'm pretty confident that we've still got this in the bag. We're adding a card to hand. I'm going to say the Nightmare Magician. Just even to get it out of the deck and in play. Like, once it's in play, you can bring it back off of Baphomet. You can grab it from the graveyard off of X number of cards. So once it's in play, it's a pretty good card. And it's a free discard off of Super Poly as well, which is nice. So we're going to end on this. This is not the worst thing in the world, and we will be sniping a card out of his hand. Getting rid of my friend Pearly. Okay, now we know what we're playing against at least. Alright, okay. I'm confident. Alright, I'm liking it. So right away in the draw phase, we're not going to waste any time with the Sword Knight. We want to get this guy into the graveyard ASAP. Oh, they're going to go for the Sheeshmeister. I'm going to negate that. If he's going to max C now, he may be a little bit desperate. 3 cards left in hand. Pearly needs a decent sized hand if they're going to make shit happen. So we're going to get this guy into the graveyard. We're going to special summon out Baphomet directly from the deck to the field in defense. Big old Baphomet, the level 5 of 1800 defense. Love to see it. God, the original Baphomet was such a bad card, man. Why did they give it so little stats? What the hell? Like, give it like 1900 attack and then make Gazelle like 23. Like, why was it so weak, even during its own period? What the fuck? Anyways. Standby phase. Now we have a couple more cards in hand, which is awesome. Ton of follow-up, which is nice. We've got this, which is going to give us follow-up as well. Super Poly, which is our primary form of interruption. We have 2 negates. We have a Quaddle and the Mirror Knight. Sorry, the Sword Knight. You're a Pearly Happy Memory. You get to discard a card. You're untargetable because of your field spell. Oh, that's why you do that shit in drop phase, man. That's why you do it in draw phase. So right, I'm pretty sure I negate this, right? Yeah, I think we just negate and win, don't we? We're gonna go on Resolution to prevent them from going into like, yeah, okay, bye. See ya. I was gonna say on Resolution, we're gonna go Super Poly. We're gonna fuse our Baphomet and his Pearly Lee to go into basically whatever we want. Starving Venom, whatever. That triggers Baphomet to bring back an illusion monster from the graveyard. We actually bring back the Nightmare Magician that we would have discarded as cost for Super Poly. So we would have had the Nightmare Magician on the field as well. So it speaks for itself, man. Speaks for itself. There you go. A lot of weird gameplay, and that's honestly that's part of why I haven't been making a ton of content on Master Duel lately. The state of the ladder and the state of Master Duel is very interesting right now, because nobody really wants to play the game, if that makes sense, right? Everyone's super frustrated, everyone's super quick to surrender, everyone's playing like super toxic decks that just aren't very fun to play into. Not even saying that they're always good, right? Sometimes they're just bad, but they're just faultless and you don't get a good game out of it. So trying to find decent sort of like opportunities to show off fun decks and fun replays and everything to you guys is becoming more and more difficult. So yeah, plus again, I've got a whole lot of shit going on, right? I mean, you can see we don't even have a fucking green screen right now. This whole room slash studio slash whatever the fuck is totally changing. So we haven't been uploading much, but that's no small factor, right? Trying to find an opponent to give you a decent, entertaining match is getting more and more difficult, but I'm sure all of you already know that. So perhaps if you want to fix that problem and you want to engage in more interactive duels, I would recommend joining the Discord. Quite a lot. We would have little duel rooms and things and the voice chats in the Discord. So if you want to be involved in that, friendly little community, we have over 500 members at the minute. So if you want to become part of that, absolutely join down below. I also have support tools and chats for smaller YouTubers and creators in there as well. I provide active help and feedback to smaller creators. Someone recently left a comment on one of my posts saying that they were a small creator looking for a hand. So if that's you or anybody else in a similar position, Discord's the place to be. But that's pretty much it for this video. Again, if you got this far, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like this, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye.